give me a good title. But the objective behind is today's session is little deeper. It may hurt you. What should I say if it hurts you? I cannot help. But why it hurts you? Did you ask this question that why it hurts you? I told you that Eastern wisdom is all about knowledge. What hurts you is not the real I. And what hurts you is the false I. Can you recognize it? Can you recognize it in your daily life? Can you recognize it? We will talk about it. Again, I'm repeating, it's a little bit long title. The real nature is present behind daily changes in life outside is recognized. Real nature is free from the false I, is the beginning of an awakening. How did this statement came to me, my mind? It happened the same thing. Mind, habitual action. I'm not putting on glasses, but the mind carries forward these past impressions in my life. And these past impressions makes us crazy. We may think that we have changed, but there is no change inside. We understand only. Teacher of the Eastern wisdom understands, it has less to do with the reading of your mind. So I will start by in a different way today. The teacher of the Eastern wisdom helps your intellect to marry the self-knowledge or the Eastern wisdom. Teacher acts as a priest or a father for the marriage ceremony. One 7 or 8 year old boy went with his dad to the church, and his father introduced to the another father, look, he is our father. So 7-year-old boy started staring at his real father. He said, oh, you didn't tell me for 7 years that he is my dad. That is what happens. The teacher acts as a priest or a father. Why? To help your intellect to marry the self-knowledge. That is the first step. Then the mind likes to marry the intellect. But the pure emotion links the intellect and the mind. I'm just making it in a very simple way. Mind, intellect, emotion, knowledge now changes your behavior, attitude, personality. What will happen? Your personality has changed completely. Your action is now filtered by these 4 aspects. What are those 4 aspects? Knowledge of the Eastern wisdom, intellect, pure emotion, mind. It is possible that you do not have a doubt even when the false I is working. Due to the habit, you are free. So your thought, speech, and action inspire others, inspire others. It not only it inspires you. You are attending a session, endurance. We have learnt emotional poise and the peace and happiness. And then suddenly something happens in your family and you are hurt. All your attitude, all the knowledge is gone. You are ready to react and fight. Why? External personality has changed, but the internal, my past impressions, is still present deep inside. And if it is present deep inside, that is why I asked you to change the make the title little smaller and see that how it real self is present behind the daily changes in life, and there is an awareness of it, is recognized, free from the false I, is the beginning of an awakening. And then I broken that into the parts. The teacher acts as a father, marriage ceremony. So it helps the intellect to marry the self-knowledge. Not only dating, marriage. If you are dating, your intellect dates with this, I have understood it, it's okay. Why should I go for repeat listening and contemplation and reflection? Do you have that mind? Do you have that thought in your mind? Yes. Then find out your daily life. Only when you attend the session you are happy, but after when you don't attend the session you are not happy. Because after dating, the girl goes to her house and buys. And we have a fantasy, and the fantasy belongs to the false I. That is one of the major reasons, even when you communicate with others, it is a mixture. We don't want to recognize it. It happened a couple of times. It happened every day almost when I read the emails and I start responding to them. I recognize it. Why I recognize? Because I recognize in this individual also. So then can I say mathematically, then this real self is 360-degree present. Then what happens? It is free from the guilt, doubt, anxiety. Is the way to learn from the teacher. Let me break it again in a different way. The teacher as a priest. So if I use the word concept, what is the concept? A teacher of the Eastern wisdom acts as a priest or a father in the marriage between the intellect and the self-knowledge. Now think, where is marriage? Now two are one, ensuring the union is sacred, purposeful, guiding the intellect to recognize and embrace the truth. In a marriage ceremony, the father is speaking something. We all know it, in every ceremony, But what happens? I hide something. And that hiding is the impurity of the mind. the guilt of the mind, its heart is not open. So then comes the second step, the mind's desire to marry the intellect. It can only take place in the purity of the mind. It can only take place if the false I is not dictating. And then you start speaking, living in the world. Mind is like a restless artist seeking inspiration, and the intellect is the canvas. Pure emotion is the bridge, acting like the paint brush that allows the artist to create harmony. Otherwise, what will happen? I gave you one positive example, and you have to find out other examples in your life. This 80-year-old guy who met me almost 35 to 40 years ago, he had some problem with his son. Now his son is in Canada, doing very good, very deep depression and etc. They got out of it. He did not learn, this 80-year-old guy did not learn anything. But sometime what happens, the intellect instantly marries the self-knowledge, and then the pure emotion starts flowing. I had hardly, how many, maybe 10 hours of teaching to his son, finished. We never met. We never met. It's a rare. And at the age of the 80, he referred someone, I told you in the last session. Can I keep that awareness? Can I keep? It is not appreciation to this guy, it is an appreciation to the knowledge. You don't take the credit, but it is that self-knowledge. Normally, wherever, I'll contact this guy, beard guy, contact, I'm sending you. So what I said, again understand this, the intellect should marry the knowledge of the Eastern wisdom. Then the second part, the mind should now desire to marry the intellect, because that knowledge of the real self is present in my intellect. Why it does not want to marry? Because of the guilt and the past impression, because I want to keep all the habits intact. I want to keep my selfishness at peak. But then, okay, it's a knowledge, just live in peace and happiness. And then we expect an awakening. Not possible. I have to look back deeper inside. That this mind will, I put it, and then the mind smiled. I smiled at it because there is a marriage. Well, keep on doing. I'm not following you. That brings the transformation of my behavior, personality. Intellect, emotion, knowledge unite. They transform my behavior, attitude, and personality. This is the ninth step. There's another way to understand it. Now what happens, all your actions, action means thought, speech, and action. Your actions are filtered through these four aspects. Before you act, intellect and the thought, feeling and the emotion, everything is very clear. I'll tell you something very great, that how our great masters used to read the thoughts of others. It's an easy process if you understand this part. So now what happens? The real self finds an opportunity to manifest through the false I, through the thought, speech, and action in every situation. In every situation, in every event, in every relationship. I believe now you can easily understand all those things because we have been following it. Then only we can notice a genuine transformation. You are saying something to others, and the others have a doubt on you. It is the doubt in you. That conviction is not there. The doubt always arises from the false I, from the habit, from the past impression, from the attachment, from the identification. Even the guilt. Guilt is caused by the attachment or impurity. One mother was told me here only, somewhere in the Midwest, I have a great guilt because I could not tell my son 10 years ago, he went 10 years ago, you should have done like this, you should have saved yourself from the problems. And she is helping. She is helping with almost $3,000 to $4,000 a month to her son, who is almost 50. But even after helping, she has a guilt. So at the social level, it's a great thing. Mom is great. What is great? You are suffering from the guilt. Great is that you are paying. You are helping. So when there is no harmony, there is no marriage. What happens then? You are offering a charity, it will not change you. And you keep on thinking and dreaming that it is changing you. We console our mind, I have helped this guy or that guy. Think. Unchanging witness behind the change. We are going further, deeper, little deeper also. Unchanging witness behind the change. The real self exists as a constant witness behind all daily fluctuations, like the sky remaining unchanged. I'm coming, I will explain it by example. So, by regular practice, I observe the changes without getting entangled. What that means? Can you make out? Notice the awareness that remains constant through all your experiences. Did you get it? Let me make it very clear in a very simple way. You wake up in the morning and your thought process is good, and so everything passes peacefully throughout the day. Your honey says, I love you. and then everything passes peacefully. Clear? Second day, you wake up, mind says it's a bad morning. Your honey says good morning. Oh, hell with you, don't talk to me. So I see the situation, events, people, relationship outside has impacted me. Is it so? Yeah, no. Yesterday, you insulted me, and that is why now you are saying good morning. So the situation outside, events outside, relationship outside belongs to the false I, has impacted and hides my real self. But why? Oh, because my honey is responsible, situation is responsible? No. The mind did not marry the intellect. Did you get it? Everyone, 99% of the people wants to hide their impressions accumulated by the false I deeper inside, so no fundamental change takes place. Are you getting it? Did you understand this? Nothing is greater than the way we think, speak, and act. And all our actions come from the thought process. The thought, behind that thought, if that area of my mind is not clear, not pure, it will hide the real self. No awakening. So the intellect has to marry the self knowledge to that extent, where the mind is attracted to marry the intellect by the pure emotion. Otherwise, anything happens in the world, I get, stress, and I have an anxiety, I have a reaction, After all, I have a reaction, Why you can't cry? I'm not saying you don't cry. So do we talk out of that personality? So the knowledge dissipates. Knowledge is gone. We have understood intellectually. We take this knowledge for granted. We contemplated and reflected, and still those past impressions are present. I keep it as my treasure. It is not going to change. I'm trying to make it, in a very clear mathematical way. Nothing happens because my thought process has not changed. Why it has not changed? Because of attachment identification, I'm still holding on to it. We are going very deep into core of our so-called the core of our personality. Personality changes constantly. It is built upon my impressions, the way you receive me, the way you take me. Oh, this guy, no, it's okay. Let us listen, let us refer someone. It is still dictating our personality. It is still dictating our thought process. That is holding us back. I'm seeing in a very simple way. Daily situation changes? Yes, it changes. Every day is not the same? Yes. Because you cannot step into the same river again because there is a constant, consistent flow of the water. Today, your honey, the way she or he wants to express, is different than yesterday. Am I aware of it? Yes, I'm aware of daily situation, event, people, relationship, work. Now, does that change impact me or I remain free from it? So, when I remain free from daily situation changes plus the thought process which I have in my mind at a deeper level, they both combine, they leave the knowledge. Therefore, how dare you say this thing to me? How dare you? You take things casually. Even after so many hours of contemplation and reflection, it is not helping us. Why? I have given the answer in the very beginning. Those impressions that we built on which our personality, on which our thought process, on which our actions are depending, we don't want to change. Why? Because of the false I, or because of the attachment, because of the selfishness. No, I'm holding it. I'm holding it. Why? That is what I am. Who is not soft and gentle when you go to the White House before the president? Why I said so? Does my nature reflects the softness and the gentleness before everyone? Whether you hate or like the president, it doesn't make any difference. You are in the White House. You are. You are the executive head of my nation. That's why I'm saluting you. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? Say yes, even if you are not getting it. So it is my attachment and my identification that resist the true change in me. The false I maintains control through these patterns and I don't recognize it. Why I don't recognize? Because I take it for granted. Oh, this is where I am. This is what I'm not open. I don't want to release that. So when I'm not open, I don't want to release. The guilt will, in the form of a seed, the attachment, the identification, and the anxiety will take birth. It will return again. Surface level changes don't address the root causes. So I have to go to the root cause. If I don't go to the root cause, want to listen little tougher things? You wake up in the morning, you have an extreme pain in your body, and you are searching that real self beyond the chains in the body today. Externally, you take care of everything. Yeah, so let me have a treatment, let me go. Means what? Mind is married to the intellect. Intellect says, get the treatment, that's okay. But your level of endurance has gone up. Level of endurance, that endurance lives in the intellect. It is not living in the mind. It is not living in the body. God is crazy, what happened? God doesn't listen to me. I prayed a lot. It will never happen. We are going deeper. That is the very ninth step. The teacher helps the intellect to marry the self-knowledge. To that extent, if you allow it, if you allow as a seeker, the mind will get inspired to get married with an intellect. Where is the obstacle? Because I want to keep myself, and I don't want to release that. So when you don't release that, so the emotion is there. Why I don't want to release? Because there is an impurity, there is an attachment, there is an identification. That causes the problem. If you understand it, it will help you to recognize and get rid of those challenges. If you don't recognize, then that false eye. You wake up in the morning. For example, I'm just giving an you wake up in the morning. Mind, are you relaxed and calm? Then the knowledge says that calmness and relaxation belongs to the real self. So who is asking that I'm calm and relaxed? It is the false eye. So now the false eye is helping and supporting the real eye, so you are free. That false eye and the real eye is so delicately mixed up that I don't know whether the real eye is expressing or it is coming from the false eye and the past impressions. Because you don't know, but the teacher knows what you are doing. So teacher helps you to know it. Why it helps you to know it? So you know, oh, I have not changed this area of my life. I have to bring about a change. Otherwise, namaste, good morning, and everything works very well at the outer level. But the teacher has a different intention. Our goal is very high. You wake up in the morning, you have anxiety and stress and a reaction, you are a seeker. You instantly recognize this belongs to the false eye, this has nothing to do with me internally. First, what happened now? You see that? What happened? Mind is already married to the knowledge and the intellect. And the intellect is already married to the self-knowledge. That is choiceless awareness. Uh, I live in choiceless awareness, live in mindfulness. How many people are awakened? But this is going to help in our personal, professional, social, and other lives. Sorry for going deep into your heart and emotions. Find it out, think of it, contemplate and reflect. Close your eyes. Close your eyes and I need not to say, do you still remember? Please position and posture. Now, we are all seekers, so we don't need too much of explanation what it means. I have been repeating this for the last couple of weeks and the months. Do you understand that today's session helps you to reflect? Place, position, posture has changed today, but I'm aware of what did not change. But you can only be aware of what does not change when you are ready to change your personality, behavior outside with everyone. Being comfortable is the same thing. Being comfortable, you are always comfortable. Oh, is that so? Yes. So you recognize that comfort. You recognize that comfort behind the body, breath, mind, intellect, ego, feeling, sensation. Simple recognition, and that is going to bring about a change. No, I don't want to change, No, I want to change, but I want to keep those impressions, my past impressions as it is. Just try. If it works, very good. It will work. But it will work with hypocrisy. You will continue to have problems and worries and anxieties. Really? Yes. Being carefree. Being carefree. Again, being carefree. I should have a trust that being carefree is a state of awareness beyond what is changing, which I feel the impact from the world outside. It is not during the practice, it is all the time, living your life. I want to keep my old house intact, but still I want a new house. Not possible on the same piece of land. I have to destroy completely the old house to rebuild a new house. I think I'm making the things very clear. And that is why That is why we just raise our awareness of the first neighbor, the world outside. Oh, the world outside. I said it is a neighbor. Who is a neighbor? That is outside my body. Even people, relationship, honey, and siblings, son, daughter, stranger, friends, enemies. They are my neighbor. Or can neighbor impact me? Yes. If I don't want to release, I don't want to destroy on which my personality is built. I hope that I'm making the things clear. Second neighbor is the body, identification. There is a very strong identification with the body. So what I have to do, I shouldn't. No, you need not to die. You have to die of attachment, of identification. To rebrand it. Rebranding? Oh, it's a neighbor. Third, energy, body, hunger and thirst. I discussed that. I discussed almost all the subtle aspects. Mind, duality, dual experiences. The world does not perceive itself as a dual nature. Hot and the cold, the season comes and goes. It is the mind. Same mind says, you are my friend, you are enemy. Individual, human being is the same. You are my honey, you are not my honey. Intellect, I thought, likes and dislikes, that is the fifth neighbor. And the sixth neighbor is ignorance. All the five go together, they marry, they have a very strong affection with I-ness. Causes attachment, identification, impurity, duality, anxiety, guilt, stress, suffering. When? In my daily life. And there comes, we say, no, mind, intellect says, oh, don't you see, sarvesham swastir bhavatu, sarvesham swastir bhavatu, sarvesham swastir bhavatu. May there be happiness for I think I discussed, did I discuss more or less the same thing in this session? You have $1 billion in your account. So I am impacted by it, I identify with it, and I say I am a rich person. Dollar is not impacted by you. The outer situation. That part of the personality has to go. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu, sarvesham shantir bhavatu, sarvesham shantir bhavatu. May there be peace for all. So it means I'm looking peace within me, so-called within me, as the trait of the real self that is separate from what? Do you remember? Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. May there be completeness in all. Does the mind is also saying? Oh, it is saying, yes. Does the mind also feels that way? No, I have a lot of guilt and attachment. I have to do all those things. Mind is already running outside. Do you see that? Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Just see, you are doing everything there is. You are not bringing any change outside. You are not changing the situation to be calm. You are already calm inside. You have recognized that calmness, that poise in you. And now, with that calmness allowed to manifest on your thought, speech, and action to bring about a change outside, is the beginning. Who helps you to that? Teacher. Teacher helps you to marry your intellect with the self-knowledge. Let us see as an experience you are looking at the head and the neck. I'm bringing the same steps of it you have done, but with a different perception. Different perception with a deeper understanding. With a deeper understanding, what is this? With the knowledge. But why don't you explain everything in one go? Not possible. For the intellect to digest. Why? Because mind is dictating. Can I again create a mathematical equation before we go further? There are three gunas we all know, we have already understood. Satoguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. Rajoguna puts me into action, thought, speech, and action. Tamoguna is sleepiness, laziness, darkness, ignorance, etc. And Satoguna is full of knowledge. Roughly, I'm defining to make you understand. So, these three gunas are always present in us. Satoguna is 80% as compared to the Rajo and Tamoguna. You are definitely working as per the discussion today. Satoguna is 99%. Reading of the thought is just a play and a fun. Only one thing I'm saying. The lot of stuff which we normally say these are the powers. It has nothing to do with the power. You bring your knowledge, Satoguna, to 90% or 95%, you will start having those things. Why I said so, look at the head and the neck. I'm bringing the same step. Now experience the sensation, relaxation, and stillness in the head and the neck without any practice. Yes. Why? It is already inside. Now you see many objections. These are the dark areas. Look inside the head and the neck. So I made it a signature step. When you look inside the head and the neck and you become aware of the sensation inside the head and the neck, and I said it is the state of the calmness. Follow it. And the space, or the dark space, is nothing but the state of quietness. And those who have patiently heard me maybe a couple of times this year, last year, so that calmness and the quietness is a recognition. What do you say? Calmness is a recognition that all those crazy impressions are far from you. You can witness them. And in the state of the quietness, they are too far to impact you. It is the thought, perception that creates an impact from the world outside. You see how much important it is to have in the state of the calmness and quietness. Look at the right arm. Now, with that knowledge, look at the right arm. Sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Look inside, explore calmness and quietness. So it is not only exploring calmness and quietness, but your level of awareness has gone up. In that self-awareness, you see, oh, the thought of an anger or a guilt or anxiety is too far from me to impact me. No, so you brought everything at the practical level, yes. Left leg, left arm, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. And deeper inside. Now you see, I have added the knowledge. So with that knowledge, calmness. Where is calmness? No, I feel little discomfort, but you are watching me, so I don't want to move the body. Otherwise, you will say I'm not a seeker. Are you still a seeker? If you say that in your mind, you're not a seeker. But your mind is totally free from that discomfort. You see that discomfort, feeling and sensation and thought. It's different, separate from you. You are there. And quietness, it's too far. So whole life is an opportunity, is a great opportunity to evolve. The middle portion of the body from the shoulder down to the ribs, and the belly in the front and shoulder blades in the spine until the waist reason, the middle portion. Experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. It becomes a song. Meditation becomes just a singing. And look inside, calmness and quietness. It is the knowledge, understanding, awareness separates. But the mind doesn't say, no, I don't want to separate it. I want to keep it. Keep it. You'll feel definitely relaxation, peace, and calmness in this session, but there will not be a fundamental change in our life. Right leg. Oh, no, look inside. Quietness. Inside. Oh, that quiet. What is the quietness? Did you contemplate on this? Can you stop the sound and the noise in the world outside? Tell me. A simple answer is no. You can shut up all the doors. It's a relative noise is not there, but the noise is still there of your refrigerator, around 40 decibels. I can give you more examples. Your fan, your AC. So I'm impacted by the outer circumstances. Now that quietness comes from the higher consciousness. right leg, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Inside, calmness and quietness. Again, I have defined inside. It is not inside the body. But we mock, we help the mind to rise in awareness by saying that you look inside the right leg. It's a rise in awareness, calmness. Further rise in awareness is the state of the quietness. You are approaching very near to the real self. The left leg, the space, the sensation, relaxation, and stillness. You see that I'm using the same step, but the knowledge is very subtle. Oh, do I experience that sensation? Minus consciousness, there is no sensation. That is what I'm referring you to. Ocean minus water, there is no ocean at all. So that conviction is lacking. Why it is lacking? I want to hold on what I am from the false eye. Quietness deeper inside the left leg. Now any thought comes, let any thought come and go. Feeling comes and goes, who cares? You've already separated. Then only the intellect, then only the mind with pure emotion ready to marry with any intellect. In every session, we are just dating. And in that state, look inside the heart, same triangle, visualize, drop Om Shanti. And once you find clockwise and anti-clockwise sinking, that is the moment you drop Om, pushing the mind inside, the deep inside the heart, Shanti, and done. A constant, consistent presence Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside. Know your experiences, bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. If you have any question, you can ask. How are you, Dennis?
Thank you for the session. My contemplation is that this false I believes that it can get enlightened or it can awaken as it is without any change. And this is simply not possible because the very components that this false I is consists of prevent the real self from manifesting. So, first of all, this false I has to be disassembled and decomposed, and these components that cover the real self and prevent it from manifesting must be removed. And then probably the awakening happens on its own. There should be no uh, effort or no action done on the part of the false I or the mind or the body or the intellect for the real self to manifest. I remember one metaphor that this process is like a piece of ice thrown into the water, and the ice, the very stiffness of the water that is the ice, it gradually melts until everything is melt. And when everything that the ice makes, the ice is melt, it becomes the water. So I think that the process of getting awakened or enlightened is very, very similar.
Beautiful. You see, the narration becomes more clear. I was thinking whether I made the things clear or not. And especially this metaphor that ice is the false I thrown into an ocean. Wait, what happens? But if you throw into an ocean in Arctic, then it becomes stronger. That is, I'm trying to hold it. You have to throw it where the ground is already prepared. It means that I am a seeker. See, what a beautiful way to understand this. The journey of this awakening. Beautifully said. Thank you, Dennis, sharing. How are you, David and Jerry?
Good morning. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you for that summary that was very um, succinct and synthesized sort of that whole thing down. And I love the metaphor of the ice in the ocean or the water or what have you. For me, that summarized it for me, but I also really was intrigued with the intellect as like a canvas. And that's how I went into the meditation today, with this blank canvas. And I felt like the meditation was 2 minutes long. It was very quick. I couldn't believe when we started going into the heart center. So thank you. Very peaceful.
Beautifully, yes. Yes, when the intellect is a canvas, it is okay. That is what you know, in that intellect, our masters have taught us if that intellect contains the right knowledge or that reaches to almost 90%. I'm just not going into the mysticism. That knowledge is 90%. You can read the thoughts easily. It is not that you sit down, okay, I will read your. Oh, it becomes so natural. So those people who close their eyes and they say they will read, they are crazy people. Don't go to them. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. That was a wonderful meditation and lesson. And what stuck with me was the marriage of the mind to the intellect, or with the intellect. And when the intellect knows that, when the mind knows that we're consciousness, existence, consciousness, and bliss, then that's what defines us, our actions and our speech and our behavior. But if the mind wants to be defined by all of the things that we've done and say and own and the outside world, then that's what we'll be defined by, and we'll continue to suffer.
Beautiful. You see that, I have to see what is my innate intention to act. To act as a teacher or a guide or a coach, whatever you say. What is that innate intention inside? So that innate intention has two parts. One is coming from the false I. What it means? What it means it is coming from the false I? It is coming from those accumulated impressions of personality, behavior, and attitude that I built over so many years. What the second? That is also coming from the false I. But at that moment, that false I is already married to the intellect. In this journey, polygamy is allowed because the intellect marries to the mind. And the first intellect and the self-knowledge married. Who is the priest and the father? The teacher. Who is the priest and father? Marriage between the mind and the intellect? Your pure emotion. You. That false I is now says, no, I have left everything. It is done. Very subtle, but very mathematically, I think Dennis has put better than it took me a lot of metaphors to explain. How are you, Brandy?
I'm good, thank you. I did that thing this morning right when I woke up where I asked the mind, I checked in with the mind, and the thing that I got back, which I realized now was also from the mind, was that the mind feels like it's been the thing that's like provided my survival. I've kept you alive, all of these impressions, right, for your survival or whatever. Which is false. I mean, it's not necessarily the actions of the mind that have gotten me to this point, but it's the clinging to that. It's the clinging to the mind thinking like, I've done all this, let me drive.
Yeah.
So that's what came up during the lesson, and it took me a minute, but my meditation was deep. Thank you.
Yeah. Whatever is happening throughout the day, and thoughts and feeling and emotions, it relates to the past event and yesterday and today and future projections. It's a big part of the false I. And David rightly said, if the intellect is the canvas, no, I'm watching, on what kind of a paint I want to do, what kind of a brush I have to use in my life. That is what is required. Beautifully said. How are you, Barbara?
I am very good, thank you. I have a question, and that is that the personality is based on past impressions, but a lot of these impressions can occur when you're very young or even prior to birth. And how can you analyze or work on things that you don't remember?
That is the whole journey is. Answer is so simple, but yet I will explain it. First thing, that is why we say get rid of all the thoughts, keep on watching. Dissociate yourself with all the thoughts, feeling, and emotions. One example, you have 5 thoughts: one thought of anxiety, one thought of peace, one thought of, for example, it will never happen to you, but I'm just citing it, one thought of craziness. Now you are simply watching them. Can you tell me which thought will consistent and will continue to remain with you? The thought of the calmness. You have already recognized the other thoughts do not belong to me, it has come from the past impressions. Simple example. Simple. That is the message our master gives in the Shanti mantra, Asato ma Satagamaya. Moving from the false to the real. The real will never be destroyed. The calmness cannot be destroyed. I go into anxiety maybe because of certain factors, the root cause. One reason. And the second reason, can I live into anxiety 24/7? It is my false side. Can I live into peace 24 hours? Yes. Everyone says yes. Peace, yes. Love, no. That love is attachment, no. Unconditional love, yes. You see, you can immediately discern and separate. So what does not remain for 24 hours, it means it is constantly changing. What is changing is not me. Finished. So there are many ways. These are a couple of the ways. How are you, Christina?
Thank you. Both the metaphor, the marriage metaphor, and the ice in the water that Dennis shared was really helpful. And there's this sense of almost a split self, where more of the time I feel like I'm the real I operating in the world. And then, like yesterday, something happened, and almost like I call a divorce somewhere in there, and then I got upset with my kids and noticed the shaming myself, and then moved back into connection with the real self again.
Good point of reflection. Send your kids to me, with whatever expenses you incur. Keep on sending every month. So I will take care of the kids so that you should be free from anxiety. Don't live into that stress unnecessarily. By explaining this, you have to discover that is the reason mind does not want to change. Do you see that? Can you reflect on that? This is that is the topic today that I hear. Yes, but it's a good thing. So plan it to me. Don't tell anyone that how much money you're going to send me. But just send how many kids you have? 3 kids?
3.
They are dependent on you. Oh, very good. They will be here. They'll be sitting. You have already seen now. They'll be doing meditation with me. No worries. I can manage 100 kids. So how are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. The mind was calm, and today's lesson was like that mind keeps lot of memories and impressions from the past, but those are not actually me. Those are just the memories. And my real self will always be different from the changes that I see. So it remains calm.
Yes, yes, yes. Lot of past impression. I had one thought. Before I go to that thought, I'll tell you something very good about my personal life. So, Sangeeta, how are you?
सर मेडिटेशन बहुत अच्छी थी और सर कई बार पास्ट इम्प्रेशंस तो होते हैं हम फ्यूचर के बारे में भी चिंता करने लगते हैं
Yeah, yeah,
तो
yeah.
तब भी एकदम से विचार आ जाता है कि नहीं अपने आप को कंट्रोल करना है और वापस सेल्फ के पास जाना है
Yeah, future projections or the thoughts about the future causes unending worries depends on my past impressions. It comes from there. I grow there. In my 20s, I had a lot of challenges in the stress and lot of confusion, conflict, and extreme stress. I remember them as a fiction. They remain detached with me. So you cannot erase those impressions completely, but they don't impact you. It's a part of the fiction. It's a novel, it's a book. That's all. Barbara, the book is always separate from you. So you are not affected by it. You're not affected. But don't you remember? Yes, you know it. But does those challenges to be presented before the seeker to explain the concept? Eastern wisdom says no. In America, I will tell you my story of stress. What about you now? You are still in stress. So, I have heard it. Many people pushed me, David. Many people who are dear to me, they pushed me. No, tell your story. Why? Just think of it. I'm not saying that, don't do it. It depends on you. I married 5 times and now planning to get married 6 times. No, I divorced and then I forget about those. But you only forget. You have to complete that in your head. When the mind is inspired and motivated to marry the intellect. There is no other way. The mind now reflects the knowledge, constantly changing life. Let us live like a king size. I don't want to say that is a promotion for promotion for a cigarette. That is all for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Namaste.
थैंक यू सर